gives you the opportunity to give you a chance to retain their business, rather than miss the opportunity altogether, because you're doing your marketing, and when you don't have those systems in place, leaving a lot of money on the table basically. Greetings, Anthony Washington here, and the purpose of this channel is to help you maximize your marketing efforts, your marketing budget, to make the most of it, and for exponential profits. Just to get right into it, we know the holy grail for leads is referrals. However, many small practices, they aren't in a position to solely rely on referrals yet, so we have to market. Word of mouth and referrals, of course, is the best, but until you get to that point, you have to market to build up to that point. Marketing takes time, takes energy, money, or a combination of those three. So you want your efforts to be maximized, especially when you're small, you're starting off, and you're working on a shoestring budget. Now, the number one mistake that I see small law firms make in their marketing and their subsequent client intake process is not having a way to urgently and properly respond to incoming phone calls from prospects. In my humble opinion, law firms, especially ones that handle anything involving some kind of distress or trauma, they should not have a phone tree whatsoever. That's the number one thing. Think about somebody, put yourself in their position, your prospect's position, they've just been in an accident, or they've been served with divorce papers, or a restraining order, or anything that has to do with some type of distress this is causing to them. Would you want to speak to a machine? You want to speak directly to a professional. Obviously, you yourself can't always be there, can't always be accessible, but you want to have a live person answering that phone at all times. After hours, there's answering services for a very minimal cost. That's where you should maximize and put whatever budget you do have, allocate that little bit to actually having a live person after hours. And then, of course, you want to train. Once that happens, once you have somebody in place at all times to assist any incoming inquiries, the important thing is to train any personnel that is answering the phone on your behalf, even when you're not readily available. The first thing they should do is capture their information. That's before you tell them anything, before you tell them that you're not available, before anything, you want to capture their information. And the reason is that it's better to try to follow up and attempt to salvage any chance of doing business with them, rather than have them hang up because of their urgency. Urgency is key in these situations, especially for those distress situations. So you want to have them, you want to be able to just follow up with them, and that'll give you any chance of salvaging that relationship, or that chance of doing business with them. Early on, when I was first learning the world of law firms, an older gentleman told me that he was not in the business of law, he was in the business of information. And that was what helped him retain business. The more initial information that you can use and to make a connection with the prospect in order to frame an ideal situation for them, the more advantageous it will be for you. Next, you want to train your staff on how to effectively communicate to the potential client that they understand the urgency of the situation. Train them on empathy. Empathy can be learned and can be acquired. It's a skill that can be acquired. Remember, we're in an age where instant gratification is the norm. It's become a way of life, instant gratification. And prospects that are calling for legal help, they're no different. They expect help immediately. Now, you should train your staff to provide them with specific time. If you're not available, provide them with a very specific time or time frame that they can expect to hear back from you, and do your best. Make sure you do your best to actually follow up and fulfill that commitment. Again, every single time that you capture the information beforehand, that gives you, and capture as much information beforehand, that gives you the opportunity to give you a chance to retain their business, rather than miss the opportunity altogether, because you're doing your marketing, and when you don't have those systems in place to retain that information and to salvage a chance to do business with them, you're basically throwing your marketing budget out the window. You're wasting a lot. You're taking a lot of you're leaving a lot of money on the table, basically. So that's really the number one mistake that I see marketers, small law firms making their marketing. If you really take the time to consider your client intake process and adjust it to fulfill prospects' expectations and to make it a great experience for them, and as inviting and as expedient as possible, you will definitely increase your business, and your return on investment on your marketing will be maximized. So I'll leave any important information and resources below this video, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.